Let's go into game 2 then. Picks and Bans should be ready for this one already because these two teams, well, they're at it. And we expected this to be a very closely hot contest between the two. Barrage took the first game. RvL, though, they have an opportunity to force a split.
They had a good opportunity as well, like you mentioned. They were finding the towers that they needed to. They gave up the Gold Furies, which was fine because they were still in the game. They had the setup that they needed with the Scylla damage, but that one objective is what cost them. It
did cost them big. Well, banned so far the same as last game. Barrage will ban away the Soul. Guan Yu banned by RvL, so no real changes so far. Do we expect a Zeus ban potentially here, or across the way Scylla? Because both those were hotly contested in that game.
I would expect if one gets banned, then the other team will definitely ban the other. Since if they're both open, then it doesn't really matter in that situation.
Well, then you leave Raijin open as well.
There's a lot of burst mages that you could do. Raijin going to get banned. Zeus and Scylla is still available. If they wanted to go for more of a global style, they can always go for the Janus. That's going to be the hot pickup as well, allowing your jungler to rotate along with you whenever you need to along the side lanes.
Looks pretty much like same bans to me coming out here. Barrage did look for the Athena last time round. Will they go for it again? I think all played pretty well on it for the most part. Missed a couple of taunts in the early game, but that's okay. You know, he connected big in the later stages of the game.
It's a very safe pick for Awe to go to this Athena again, even though there were some opportunities for RvL to capitalize on the fact that they killed Athena early. She was still a presence into the game by using her ultimate upon revival.
Well, this time round, Barrage, they don't want Zeus for themselves. They're going to give Elexum Scylla this time round. So RvL have the chance to respond here. Athena available for them to take away if they want it, and they will do that and give that over to their own boy Zenborne in the support role.
And with the Athena pick as well, we're going to see how they synergize. It's going to be the Thor, so having the global presence, similar to how Barrage ran to the Athena Thor. RvL taking a page out of Barrage's book. We'll see if they're able to execute it just as efficiently.
Do we expect a Najana from Barrage just because they've gone for the Scylla? So we're going to see potentially a salty run back, but mirrored.
The two frontliners for junglers, when I look at Scylla, I think of either Naja or Fenrir specifically to find the aggressive wombo combos in the early stages of the game. I also think of either the Athena support or the Kumbhakarna to synergize with that.
There's going to be displacement coming out here from prOxyQQ on the Hun Batz this time, and a Geb pickup as well, so they're looking for the extra shields to keep them alive a little bit longer in these engagements and provide a little bit more peel for the backline.
And if you're going to leave Geb into the backline to peel, you're going to have a really aggressive solo laner to do a lot of disruption, whether it's going to be a Guardian and Sobek or whether it's going to be aggressive bully such as Bologna or Ravana.
Hey, Watson's not scared of being aggressive, I can guarantee you that, and neither is Gnome. Janus has been locked in though, so we won't see Zeus this game, I don't think, as the Odin ban comes through from RvL. Very, very worried about Watson's Odin there, quite clearly. Banning it after a Hun Batz and Geb, surprising.
RvL just synergizing with their first two picks, picking up another global god in the mid lane. They're going to have so much travel and speed right now out of RvL. If any side lane is in trouble, definitely going to have to look for the counter engage out of RvL.
Keep an eye on what Barrage do with their last ban now, because obviously it's over at RvL side, but that's 3 globals. You don't want Apollo, you don't want to deal with Neath as well, that's for sure. There's just too much availability to them. And they're going to respect Jeron's Jablonke from last game here and ban that one away.
It was doing a lot of damage despite not having that many stacks or fully finished stacks at the later stages of the game. It was too annoying to deal with the Xbalanque Darkest of Nights, especially when there was a Thor that you always was up in the air. Darkest of Nights comes out, you don't really see where the Thor is coming from, so good ban.
I'm thinking Apollo underneath here needs to be looked at by Barrage, but they're going to go with Bologna, worried about the Eagles rallies that came out from last game too, from Gnome. Well, RvL, they have Hunter first pick if they want it. You generally save your solo laner till last.
The Bologna was a good pick for RvL last game, setting up the Scylla in certain situations, especially that one time when the Scylla, it was around the speed buff, I think it was, where it was just doing so much damage out for the Bologna ulti, and the Bacchus belly flop, Scylla crush.
Just the combo. So it's Robin for the solo lane. He didn't get banned this time round, and Barrage have to answer back for Watson. Will we see the Hercules again? A Chak, maybe? Something like that?
Something very aggressive with this kind of comp from Barrage. You're leaving the Geb in the backline for sure. You have to have somebody initiate with the Hun Batz aggressively.
Osiris, that's going to be the front line for them, so going to reduce some of the damage coming out, and in that laning phase I think it does go Raven's way if I'm correct in the early stages.
As long as the Osiris doesn't have that many passive stacks for the damage mitigation, it will go into Ravana's favor. However, if the Osiris does have those stacks, having that, you know, anywhere between 10 to 16% damage reduction is going to be heavily in Osiris' favor.
We'll see how this works out. Hou-Yi is the final pick for RvL there. So the last two picks, they don't need any more global presence. They've got enough with Athena, Thor, and Janus on that roster. Meanwhile, Barrage seems to be all about displacement, seems to be the talking point here. Keep them pinned, spread them out, pick them off one by one with the Hombat, Scylla, as well as Anhur, who's very good at displacing, as well as Osiris too, the whole team. Barrage up 1-0. RvL, though, I'm favoring that roster right now.
And right now, between those two hunters, the last pick was the Hou-Yi. It's going to be a lot of aggression, I would say, as long as both supports are off the table. The Geb is going to have to sit in the mid lane because the Athena can ulti on over any single time. So if there's ever a 2-on-2, that's going to favor RvL, as the Athena is just going to be able to ulti on over to the mid lane, and then Geb sitting there 2v1's like, well, I guess I'm just sitting here soaking up experience from my Anhur, and now the Hou-Yi is getting ahead, and the rest of RvL's getting ahead because I'm not in that team fight.
Well, into game we go here, and Barrage, one thing they can definitely do, they can win games, but what they can't do is get themselves in roster order any single time. So apologies for that one. We dealt with it game one. It seems it's going to continue game two. One day they'll work it out, though. One day. We can dream. But Power Potion starts for both junglers and mid laners here. Throwing daggers for both the hunters once again. And you can see solo laners. Bluestone versus Death's Toll is the matchup. Death's Toll for Osiris.
You have to go Death's Toll as to the Osiris in this situation because you have the splash on your third and fourth hit chain. So you want to be utilizing that as much as possible, especially when you get aggro of the whole wave, which Osiris generally tend to do. You want to move the melee minions to the archers and then clear the whole wave with that third and fourth hit.
Well, one thing to note here as well, keep an eye on Awe. On the Geb this time round, has started with Blink, which shows me that he's going to be looking to make aggressive plays early on. A lot of Gebs will take it at level 12 if they're going to play the passive game up until that point, but taking Blink early means Blink Cataclysms. He's going to initiate some of these fights, I feel, and then peel for the backline and let Proxy and Watson go in and do their damage.
It's also giving them a little bit of flexibility because if he does show up late to a team fight because of the Athena Global, he'll be able to find the perfect counter engage as well. So I like this idea, picking up the Blink this early on. It's going to be dependent on how successful he's able to execute it early on.
Advantage Barrage in the solo lane there. Both the junglers did rotate over, so that's going to open up the fire imps to go the way of Barrage. Right, and Harpies are being looked at there as well, as you can see by Atonement on the Janus, but he can't look at them just yet. Not with so many Barrage members being around.
Anhur took so much damage from those archers right now. Geb was just not in front of the Anhur, soaking up those archers, and as a result, look how far back he's going to be playing, and now the Hou-Yi and the Athena. Athena is just threatening the fact that she has her dash charged up. She could be looking for that dash taunt whenever she wants to.
Sat there patiently. Left Harpy's going to go the way of Barrage. Right ones, though, still haven't been taken yet, and RvL are going to be there in time. Impale forced out by Jeron there, which means his wave clear is going to be lackluster again. He's going to lose a little bit of gold to the tower. Luckily, it was a brute on the front line there, so it's only one piece of gold.
And there has to be a response coming out of Barrage to deal with this aggression from the dual lane. Right now, there is none available. Batz is sitting in the mid lane currently with the Scylla. They're currently not level 5 yet, so there's no reason for them to rotate quite yet.
But if you're playing Geb, you've got to expect to be up against it in the dual lane to begin things off, especially against an Athena and a Hou-Yi that when gold throwing dagger start. If he would have gone for Transcendence start, maybe it would have been an even matchup with Anhur's clear there. But in the early stages, just not enough clear on an Impale from Jeron on its own, as well as that throwing dagger, especially if he's having to Impale against engagements coming out from RvL.
You add the Hou-Yi Ricochet going when you clear the back Harpies and the red buff as well. And the Hou-Yi Athena is going to get to the lane first and then control the rest of the pace of the game. So it makes it even that much more difficult if I'm the Geb or the Anhur having to deal with that kind of pressure.
I will say these are the top two solo laners in Europe right now, Gnome and Watson. You could see the little matchup they're having between each other. The overhead kick that came out from Gnome there was beautifully timed to avoid the Tether stun coming out as well. And they're just going to keep whacking in on each other. And they both make an influence in team fights too.
And because of those fire giants, Watson is going to hit level 5 right now. Watson going to get poked out a little bit. Now wanted to take the aggro. Thor comes landing in, forcing the purification out on her, but Geb's caught out.
And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the Geb who's trying to roll away the corner. He's going to find the gap though. Oh, gets out of the danger zone. Perfectly timed and executed away. You just watched him say, hi, Athena. You all right? You good? Yeah, peace.
Somebody should have saved their CC just to make sure that the Thor wouldn't be able to roll out there. Didn't have the Tectonic Rift or the taunt or the ricochet off of the...
Oh, but Jeron is going to get caught in an awkward position. Needs an in-hand coming out here, but the pillar's going to cause another issue. RvL have dropped 2 kills in 2 seconds.
Doesn't matter, though, because now both of them have to back. The Anhur's going to miss out on that whole wave of experience, and now the rest of RvL, as long as they survive this counter-engage out of Barrage, they're still in a good spot.
zRapio goes back to base. Elexum and prOxy show their presence here. Balls are available for them to steal away if they recognize it, but instead they're going to return to their own side of the jungle. It's a small advantage for RvL, but it should have been so much more here, Tolly.
It could have been. Barrage could have maybe took advantage of the fact that there was 2 members that had to back, could have potentially forced the goal here. It would have been risky, but it could have been a slight edge if they got it.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Damage on the tarts there. You can see that, well, Headhunter's having a pretty good game at 1200 so far, just behind his teammate Gnome on the Ravana in the early stages of the game. So he shows that he's landing those ricochets when it's important there. Is Zenborne.
And that's why those 2 members, the Geb and the Anhur, did have to back right there. And that's going to give a little bit of an experience lead into the fact that the Hui and the Athena are playing this aggressive as well. And that could transition later on to keep playing aggressive, maybe look for the invade on the red or the boars as well.
Well, it looks like RvL have an opportunity to get both sets of boars here. As you can see, prOxy is headed, sorry, Harpy's here. As prOxy's head over to the blue side, but is it gank again on Jeron with the Athena dunk? They're just after Jeron time and time again. They feel he was a difference maker last game, and they're going to shut him down early this game.
Anhur was backing in the middle of the lane, wanting to finish off his golden bow. Unfortunately, he forgot that Thor is available to gank at any single second, wants to make sure he has to back under tower next time after that gank.
And it's just pressure in the Anhur because his mid-game and early game is some of the strongest parts of Anhur here. His late game against the likes of a Houyi, just not the same standard.
And also is the fact of the matter that his purification was down from the earlier engagement, just capitalizing on that fact. So beautiful recognition from RvL. Dropped the kill earlier on, got the purification, but capitalized it on again.
Well, Gnome did manage to get those fire imps there, but he took a hell of a beating from Watson, and Watson forced out the ultimate. It was a good decision from Nose to ult away. He would have been dead, but Watson definitely happy with that trade.
He could look to try to exploit that fact now that the Ravana ultimate is down. Maybe a rotation from the Hunbats could exploit that fact. You getting ganked on the dual lane side, maybe it's something that Barrage has to consider, start focusing on the solo.
And here you go, the gank coming out from prOxyQQ here, looking for Headhunter, overhand smash gonna miss, monkey toss gonna miss, and prOxy's gonna limp his way back into the jungle with his head between his legs.
Still has the opportunity to travel over to the solo lane if he wants to try to gank the ultimate list Ravana currently. There is a small window of opportunity to do so right now.
That's very true, but the Golf Fury is available, and you can see RvL gonna go over there and ward it up. Here's Zenborne looking for Jeron again, gonna get the taunt. Unstable Vortex just off the mark from Atonement in the mid lane there. 0 player damage for both the mages. Good job, boys. You farmers, you.
PvE, man. PvE, the ricochet off the mark. Caught in an awkward position, but in the air, avoiding the Anhur ultimate. Now the purification used yet again into the Suns. He's going to fall again.
Very, very messy fight from both teams there. They were both baiting over and over again, always baiting around the corner. But now prOxy, well, he's got an opportunity here. 3 members. I'm a Monster's already dropped. I'm a Monster's available, sorry, I should say, but it's not been used just yet. Looking for the pick, not going to find it, and now pressure is forced onto him as well. Is he's going to back away here? Elexum will get away for now, but this is working out well for RvL.
Houyi doing a wonderful job, just utilizing his jump, perfectly timed, avoiding the Geb Cataclysm and the Anhur ultimate. Another boxing fest in the solo lane. Watson currently 1 level behind. Gnome looking for the play, finds the ultimate, however, a little too slow upon using his first ability.
Yeah, didn't find the first one, and Watson managed to ult away to safety. Golf Fury is available here for one of these teams to look at, and it could be RvL who have the opportunity, but they're not looking there just yet. Instead, they're pushing in mid lane as Barrage clear up their red buff, and Elexum, well, he's limping around on half health here. Got to be very careful against a Thor and a Janus.
Some gold is going to be denied under that middle tower, as we do have a double teleport from both solo laners onto that Fire Giant side. Watson going to be able to pick up those imps, even though RvL was in position to start that up, as the speed buff was taken from the Thor as well.
Left Harpies are about to spawn just before the right ones do here, and we're not seeing a contest from RvL just yet, but they've not spawned as prOxy and Aura are in position. Aura level 7, as is Athena, played by Zenborne, so those two pretty equal, but the big difference here is the Hunters, level 7 to level 9, and this is all the focus they've been doing onto Jeron here over and over again.
Constantly getting his purification and taking advantage of it. Jeron just now hitting level 8, still behind quite a bit right now, sitting on boots 1, whereas the Hui is about to finish his warrior tab right now. Thor can still exploit the fact that the purification is down again on this Anhur, and that's a good strategy to do, because if you can force teamfights around this Golf Fury side of the map, then that's the free objective afterwards.
And already that ward that got placed by Elexum removed from Rival, and zRapio going to go to the skies, looking for the dunk down onto these two. Not going to be in range, however, and Elexum notices it, lands the Sikkim. Crush follow-up wasn't there, but Proxy now looking for the Fear No Evil, going to find it. I'm a monster off the mark, and Proxy now at Amano as all goes in with a Blink Cataclysm, but they've used all that combo already. The Cataclysm wasn't really worthwhile as Unstable Vortex comes out hitting Elexum. Gnome punching him in the back of the head. Knockup was good for more slaves for the time. Oh, the juke boots were good.
He's going to rotate over. Can he find the Ricochet? Going to use the ultimate to secure the kill. Going to use the Purification, making sure that he doesn't get CC'd as the Anhur is going to regroup to this teamfight as well. Teamfight continues on the top-hand side. Headhunter getting traded for prOxyQQ. 2-for-1 trade so far into the favor of Rifle. Anhur ultimate not good enough. However, Zenborne does fall to Watson.
Leap is good. The Impale is better. Jeron going to find Atonement there. And now it's poor old Gnome against 3. No, he's not. He's got zRapio there, but zRapio just got hit by the big ult from Osiris. But Gnome did manage to take out 1 and exit.
3 for 4. Only the Thor stands alive for Rival right now. Too many members are low for Barrage, so they're not able to get the goal here right now. And they're going to be able to push out this mid-wave, look for maybe any sort of objectives, which is going to be the right side mid-Harpies.
Well, they've got right Harpies to take. The Fire Imps are available too, so they're going to split the difference and take them both, all being well here. Obviously, 10 minutes, you do see those Fire Imps stop spawning, so Watson will get the very final ones of these on that right-hand side here. Let's go to the graphs here, because you'll see it's been back and forward so far this game, and we're all still even.
I like the fact that the way the Scylla disengaged, the Ravana didn't want to commit to that dive. Unfortunately for the Hu Yi, he saw blood in his eyes. He committed with a dash, so after he found the kill, there was nowhere for him to go.
Yep.
And had he just stayed in that team fight, that was still going to be a 5-on-4 in the favor of Rival, because Scylla would have to back and then travel back to the team fight. Rival could have put pressure on the middle tower. And if nobody died in that situation, the best thing for Rival is they get the tower at least in middle.
The best news is at the moment there's only a 300 gold difference between the Hunters now, because we did actually see Jeron manage to pick up a kill in that engagement too. Very important for him and got involved in the game. Got some player damage for himself, as did the Mages finally. Although, when I do say that, Atonement's still a little bit low down there with those unstable vortexes so far. That through space and time was close.
So close. I was looking
we all
at
saw it.
I had my field goal hands ready. I was going to be like, it's good. But no, just barely off the mark. The Scylla did juke a Cataclysm. Going to set up the Anhur ultimate.
Very, very good Desert Fury, connected with every single one, but through space and time does connect onto Elexum there. And there's the dunk in from zRapio. Going to force Purification and the ultimate out of Atonement. Double tap off the mark. Shield is good. Shield will keep him alive. Big play coming out from all the Iron Monster. Turnaround on top of that. Away from the danger goes Jeron as Atonement overcommits and ends up dying. What a great play from Barrage as a team.
And now prOxyQQ going to try to retreat under the tower. The Thor did not want to commit to that kill right there. Both solo lanes just chilling in the solo lane, have their teleports available to them and meditation. Whoever rotates to that team fight first would have definitely secured for the rest of their team. First pick of that did go onto Atonement with a beautiful setup from prOxyQQ onto the I'm a Monster from Elexum.
And look at the plays here. You can see both the solo lanes have gone for the enemy jungle. The bad news is zRapio already picked up his speed buff and Proxy did not. So Gnome's going to find a speed buff and a blue buff to steal. Meanwhile, across the way, Watson will get the blue buff and be very, very upset when Proxy goes to his jungle and finds out the speed is down.
That's always annoying for a jungler when it's like, hey man, you're supposed to protect my speed buff. You were the chosen one.
He's like, nah, man, blue.
You were the chosen one.
Steal the blue. What's my point to a solo lane now? Your teammates
definitely the blue.
Definitely the blue.
Nah, I'm giving up my opponent's.
Oh
my
no!
jungler.
Under a lot of pressure here. Has ultimate, but Lord of the Afterlife will give chase. The stun connects. Still trying to find it. prOxyQQ had to drop tower aggro for a second here. They will find the kill, and Watson will walk away. There's no rotation coming out just yet from Rival. Through space and time has not been used. Just a portal to get through here for him to come and defend the tier 1 tower.
Golfier still stands strong. Thor is thinking about maybe going up in the air. Going to get spotted out by the Geb right now. Not in range to connect on it to anybody. Does stun out the Hunbats, however.
Wall was good, but Fear No Evil is better. Under the tower, the portal's going to drop him. Space and time does not connect. Neither does I Am a Monster. Or's trying to chase down and pick up Zenborne. The Sikkim on point. Crush to follow up. Elexum credited for the kill onto Zenborne.
So finding that one pick right now is going to be able to return to the favor right now. And it look like Ravana is going to be able to revive. Does have teleport available. There is a team fight on the left-hand side. Ravana could teleport over to complement that team fight.
Headhunter is still giving chase. He wants this fight. He wants to kill the lion. He wants to show he's a man, but he can't find a Ricochet.
Not able to find the Ricochet. Does going to be able to zone out a little bit here. The Anhur connects.
Oh, turnaround play, and now it's the advantage the way of Jeron. These two will go. I told you these two would be so aggressive. Look at that. You called for a teleport to come out. Typical solo lane action, but Zrapio, well aware that could happen. He's going to block off the strategy of Watson swinging around the back. He'll defend his Hunter as reinforcements arrive from RvL.
And now recognizing the fact that the Thor is half health, that the fact that Hu Yi had to back as well, that's going to be a 5-on-3.5 advantage currently for a couple of seconds right now. And Barrage recognizing this, going to start up the Gold Fury with Geb zoning right now.
But look at this, Gnome now recognizes it, but all the team in position to defend. The Gold Fury's already dropping, the Gold Fury's already done. It goes the way of Barrage, and now we're going to see poor old Gnome surrounded by a monstrous, but a great big ultimate from Thor saves the day. Gnome gets credit for one as Atonement over the wall connected two, and it's Barrage on the run from 5 members of RvL.
Losing 3 members right now. Thor wants to be able to make sure that there's going to be a 4th chasing down prOxyQQ. He's going to be able to jump away. The double tap, not able to connect. He tried, did not be able to teleport that through space and time. Is it going to connect? Not able to find Proxy. So 3 kills, losing Gold Fury. Should be able to connect onto the Tier 1 tower, perhaps.
Little bit overplay there from Gnome. Going aggressive as is Zrapio. They're still trying to hunt for kills. And the Ammo Monster's Proxy not going to connect either. Why is Proxy still here? I will not know. As the Tier 1 tower is going to fall in mid lane. It worked out for RvL because all that pressure, it allowed the mid lane to push. So they got Tier 1.
They got the Tier 1. They're going to lose the speed buff as well as the blue buff that's about to respawn. So RvL capitalizing on those 3 kills. There was just too many people grouped up. It was a great bait coming out of Gnome right there. He jumped in, forced all of Barrage to stick on him, and that allowed the Thor to land. The unstable vortex connected. It was just too much area of effect damage for Barrage to deal with.
And it was a small misplay to allow Barrage to get the Gold Fury for free like that, but RvL answered back nicely, stripping away some of the jungle too and the tower. So you go to the graphs and you'll see, well, we're still in an even game, boys and girls.
Just like that. The last set was very even as well. Excel versus Excellence. This set is very even. RvL versus Barrage. It's going to be interesting to see how if either of these two teams, how they play in the later stages of the game.
Well, so far, Tolly, 15 minutes in, 15 kills. A kill a minute is the pace that these two teams are setting. Do you reckon however long this game goes, we'll see that many kills per minute?
I mean, the way they've been aggressing between Watson and Gnome, it's very likely. They're setting each other up, whether they're not they're the ones getting the kills or they're setting the rest of their team finding the kills. They're doing a wonderful job.
Well, Watson going to roam around in the jungle. He just discovered the Fire Imp stop spawning after 10 minutes there. As you can see, pressure from onto Atonement coming out from Proxy in the mid lane. Player damage charts here, just keep an eye on those. Scylla is not really having the best game so far as Elexum, not really connecting much of this damage, but that'll change as the game goes on.
Just have to be a little bit more patient with the setup. Has to figure out the right angle that the members that are affected by the Fear No Evil are traveling. If there's a good Fear No Evil against the wall, then that Amma monster is going to be doing so much damage as well. Geb could initiate to set up the Scylla, but then there's no peels available to. So it's a little tricky for Barrage to find that right opportunity for Elexum to do damage.
And I was looking at the bottom end, but look at the top. Zrapio here on this Thor is top player damage right now, above the solo laners who are both major fighters. Big gank for Jeron again. Desert Fury in response. Suns are on point. Jeron will be taken off the map, but the rotation is here. It's only though, and Elexum doesn't realize there's Athena behind him. Going to get taunted, and there's Headhunter to apply some damage. Good calculator coming out from though. Going to force Headhunter back, and the Purification too. Proxy in the jungle, though, has managed to find a rotation out of Gnome, as Gnome punches to the rock for a second as well. The rock says no you damn roll, as Athena comes in too. They're looking for the Tier 1 tower.
That was amazing taunt from the Athena earlier on. That Thor was sitting in the crush. Blink taunt onto the Athena, forcing double Purification. Fear No Evil, forcing 2 members onto the wall. Scylla ulti, not good.
Not good at all. The Sanctuary was good from Proxy, though, but RvL will limp away with the tails between the legs because Watson is now here. He's rotated from mid lane. He's going to get the tether off onto Gnome, who does still have his ultimate available. Going to get knocked up. Lord of the Afterlife onto the back line, though, from Watson. He cleans up Headhunter, and you can see Atonement running for his life as a wall from Zrapio will create a zone for a second. Gnome knocks him away from the crush, and now Proxy has tower aggro as well. Proxy's going to fall as Watson left the range, and now Gnome still trying to live under the tower. Going to ult away, left it to the last moment. The Tier 1 tower will now fall on left-hand side. A crazy turn of events.
And then meanwhile, the mid lane right now, the Anhur is able to push in. Going to get the Tier 1 in middle as well. 2 towers into the favor of Barrage, capitalizing on the aggression from RvL. So far, good capitalization. Trading 1 for 1 in that exchange. Finding Headhunter, losing prOxyQQ. A little too aggressive without too much mana, but 2 towers into their name.
But that was all gank JeRon, pick him up first, it was a 4v5. Then the rotation comes out from Barrage, and they managed to keep themselves alive and push RvL back. And then we had Watson come in too, and it got really messy overall.
Both of these solo laners are just doing a wonderful job making their presence known throughout the game right now. Whether it happened in the solo lane or the dual lane right now, they're just being so obnoxious. And in the back line, the way Watson played that as well, that ultimate
The
just
Lord of the Afterlife? Yeah.
Sanctuary, and the chase was just too strong. If Atonement didn't have his portal available, he was going to be dead as well.
Completely true. Atonement and Headhunter, they turned to help out Gnome, who was getting picked off there potentially, and Watson recognized the opportunity, went straight for it, and converted that into a tower for Team Barrage.
And with that, Gold Fury has respawned right now. It's going to be dependent on how good the vision control is for both teams, if they can wait for the counter warning as well. Whether it's Barrage with a Scylla Root Crush or whether it's going to be Team RvL waiting for the Athena taunt, there's a lot of potential ganks around corners.
Well, it's wall cleared out from Barrage again, and Barrage, even though they got the last goal here, they've got to be very careful about RvL, especially with their global ultimates available. Watson is up against Gnome in the solo lane, still trying to bring down that tower. Both towers around half health, I'd say, give or take. Is Elexum. Elexum is a lot of trouble. Shield was good from all, though, and he's trying to avoid the Suns and gets away with the Sentinel. But Zenborne still going in as his Rapio. Big Cackler's a big arrow monster. He did a lot of damage in response. Fear No Evil should come out, but he doesn't find a single kill just yet. Still giving chase to Headhunter there as he's running through the jungle. JeRon needs an Impale. JeRon finds an Impale, 1-for-1, as now Rapio comes in and Watson and Gnome.
Both solo laners making their presence known right now. Watson connecting with Lord of the Afterlife, trying to force Ravio to run away. He's going to use the Purification as well as getting slowed, forcing the Sanctuary as well. JeRon connecting with a stun, but the Athena taunt is not going to allow the disengage. And now are going to get the knockup, and it looks like Barrage are going to have to retreat under the tier 2.
Well, they don't have any minions yet, and Gnome and Zenborne will lead the charge here with Atonement backing them up. Root off the mark from Gnome, but the punching back into Watson's face he does. But they're both solo laners, so they'll both be tanky enough. Gold Fury still stands, and Gold Fury control is rivals, and they have an opportunity here to look at it if they so choose.
They do right now, but it looks like they're gonna just position themselves around it. Watson on the right side, mid Harpies. RvL starting the Gold Fury.
They don't have Headhunter with them, but you can see the damage charts, and Rapio's making an impact on Thor. Or's going to moonwalk over here, find out what's going on, as Rapio actually is ganking JeRon on the left-hand side again, who got a little bit too greedy and a bit cheeky, looking for some extra farm in this lane. Still being pressured. Is that as the Gold Fury has been reset, and Watson and Gnome go back at it in the jungle.
Through space and time was used, not going to be able to connect onto the Anhur. Gnome going to disengage from that crush. Beautiful overhead kick.
And still, now Proxy forces out Rapio there as well. I believe Proxy did use his ultimate on that engagement. No, he didn't. He just found some good damage, and mana bar low on both of them, so they will head back to base.
Trading damage for damage. Anhur did have to back to base right now. Currently a 5-on-4 advantage, 5-on-2 advantage if RvL wanted to push the buttons of Barrage right now, but it doesn't look like they recognize this number advantage they have. Just going to do their own red buff as Thor backs to base.
Which team has the best control of the Gold Fury here? The best team fight the Gold Fury and the best control of actually stealing it away?
I would say that Barrage with the Fear No Evil and the Crush I'm a Monster combination makes it very scary for RvL to do it without having a distinct advantage.
Oh, overextended, has to Cataclysm early. He was alone. That ultimate is now on cooldown, and RvL will be happy with the result of that. It's only Gnome that's being picked off by Watson, but he's still got teleport and enough escapability from his team. But still, Watson going in, only Lord of the Afterlife on Gnome. That ultimate is now on cooldown too, as they're chasing Rapio through the jungle here. JeRon still giving chase as Watson, surrounded by the rest of Team RvL. He's still alive thanks to Or peeling away, but to the backside goes Gnome and going to force back Elexum one more time on the Scylla.
Through space and time was used. Proxy taking a lot of damage using Fear No Evil defensively. Watson's going to back to bases on her, forcing the Sanctuary out of Headhunter. Looks like the Thor stops the back from the Hunbat. Sanctuary was used. Geb Shield is good. Thor's up in the air.
Thor is up in the air, but I'm a monster. Comes out from Elexum, gets one, gets two, looking for a third, not going to find it onto Rapio, who is very late on coming down. Sun's raining down as 3 members of RvL are taken out. JeRon chasing Headhunter, going to pop the sprint, looking to close the gap on the Hunter. One auto. Good Impale, good final auto, and now they're looking for Atonement too. Gold Fury should be being looked at here. Watson still giving chase to Janus.
Yeah, you should definitely let the Osiris force the Janus to run around constantly. 4-for-1 in the advantage of Barrage right now, as Janus is trying to find the right opportunity.
Oh, needs to be careful, and he didn't see that one coming in the blind spot. Gold Fury still stands here in Atonement versus the world. Elexum pretty low here, as is the Gold Fury portal. Unstable Vortex just missed misses because of Purification, but Atonement Sanctuary going to buy him a moment to juke around some more. The Gold Fury goes the way of RvL, however. Elexum still in trouble. Atonement finds a portal of escape. Good play from Janus. He did all he could.
He did all he could. He found the
Space
kill
of
on
time.
the Gab. He does not connect onto
Oh, wow.
anybody. Proxy, does he get hit? No.
If he found that, I would have been done. Like, typical Janus, 13 to 13, 23 minutes in, 26 kills involved. Golden experience lead is Barrage's, but this is still anyone's game.
They still have a lot of tools at their disposal out of the side of RvL right now. One good through space and time and one good unstable vortex could change any situation in the later stages of the game. That Janus is going to be quite a force to reckon with Barrage.
And the funny thing is, for the first 20 minutes of this game, I was like, Scylla play damage low, Janus play damage low. What's going on with these mid laners? Well, we just saw the I'm a Monster connect with 3 people pretty much, and he turned that around to spike up to 10,000. And meanwhile, Atonement, what a great individual play to just kite Watson around, find a kill in that too, and nearly look at making the big-time, all-time highlight reel play with the Gold Fury steal as well.
It's so important to recognize when you have opportunities by yourself, whether you're in a 1v1 situation or a 1v4. And Atonement right there, just play that perfectly, recognizing the mobility he has with Janus, with the portals, with the threshold, being able to juke out the Osiris long enough to buy himself enough time to go wrap around and finding the kill, almost even finding another.
Well, everyone's decided from both teams to group up on the right-hand side, just leaving the Hunters alone, and Watson's going to find out the red buff's done, but he's looking for a Headhunter. Not going to throw the Impale, though, just the Pillar for now to zone. And with that mark of the Crow, Watson's going to... Sorry, he's going to hold his pressure for a little bit there, is Jeron. As prOxyQQ forced to Purification. Double tap just off the mark there. Single was good, however, coming out there from zRapio, who's having a very good game himself.
With the Hunbat's Purification being down, Geb has to make sure in the back of his mind he's looking to shield the Hunbats whenever necessary. As Watson going to trade out Poke with Gnome. Not too much to wrap around as the Thor is on the backside trying to find Poke on top of this Scylla.
zRapio is in the Fire Giant pit right now. I'm not sure if he's ulted, but it looks like he has because Barrage backing off. Taunt misses there from Zenborne. Space and time off the mark, but Watson gets connected by zRapio there. They're looking for a lot of pressure onto him and they've wasted a lot, but they will pick up Elexum on the back somehow in that engagement. It connected and picked up the Scylla.
And now Hunbat's behind, going to get stunned out. Fear No Evil still available to him if he wants to use it. He's just going to jump away right now. There would have been no follow-up as there's 2 members under the tier 1 tower. And meanwhile, on the left-hand side, just trading 1 for 1. Left-hand side, just boxing basically, while there's right-hand side. Put pressure.
Cataclysm onto 3, knock up as well. Fear No Evil to follow it up, but Purification's going to force them all back. zRapio still alive, gets out of tower range, and the wall was good to stop all chasing. Zenborne has to get out, and Gnome's the last man standing on the back as the tether does connect with him. Gnome doing what he can to stay alive and going to ult away, but Watson giving chase with Awe as well. Awe going to blink in, find the knock up, but he doesn't manage to find a pick. Pressure relieved from Barrage and applied to RvL.
Nobody to follow up after the blink knock-up. Barrage Awe is going to keep on chasing right now, going to zone more members. Tier 1 tower not going to be pressured except by the Geb right now.
Support, the hero they need. They take down the tower. Full credit to the Geb.
And now Huyi making his presence known on the right-hand side. Anhur's in the mid lane.
This has been madness, totally. Madness from start to finish. We've had, what, 27 kills at 25 minutes in this game. It's been crazy. Look at my hair. It's a mess. I mean, I'm away with it. It's a mess.
I got you.
It's all wrong. What's going on in this game, Tolly? Talk to me. Talk to me. Who's going to win?
Just got to... Sometimes you just need a breather, you know? On a team.
Breather. I've never had one of those before. It feels pretty good. All right, breather. Let's get back to it. 27 kills. 26 minutes in, and Watson under pressure in the duo lane, overextended alone, going to get taunted. Knock up from all's good, but Watson, space of time, going to connect as well. And there's the shield popping from the bulwark, but he's going to get jumped on. No, he's not, because Headhunter off the mark there. Atonement will get credit from the kill with the unstable vortex. Barrage left him alone. Their solo laner is dead. Power play for RvL to look for the tier 1.
And now they're going to look for the tier 1. It's very low. Geb's still trying to do something about it. Elexum used his escape as well as the Athena. Not going to be able to find too much right now. The setup is there. Can they follow up? Damage not connecting.
zRapio going to swing round, not find the double tap there. Cataclysm force from Awe, though, unfortunately, didn't find anyone. And neither did the unstable vortex, but I tell you what, did find someone. The Fear No Evil of Proxy setting up the Desert Fury from Jeron perfectly. They'll trade out 1 for 1 in the end, as Watson's still dead. Now he's zRapio as well.
We talked about the Hunbat's ultimate being able to pin somebody against the wall, and that was perfectly executed along that side. The Thor had no way of getting out in that situation with the Purification being down. The Anhur Desert Fury just connected, and there was nowhere for him him to go, trading 1 for 1. Still traded the towers 1 for 1 as well, so everything's still looking decent for both teams.
Golf Fury about to respawn as well as Elexum sneakily goes into the enemy jungle here, going to find himself a nice little red buff, deny that one from Atonement. And just like solo laners love blue and junglers love speed, mages sure do love that red buff.
Unless you're dealing with a hunter that's a very greedy hunter trying to take that away.
You find shots at Zapman again?
I just said there's a greedy hunter taking a red buff away from a mage, and you instantly implied I'm always talking about Zapman.
You do off air. Not really. You don't really. I mean, you just sit there saying nice things about him. I love Zapman, me. He's my friend.
I actually have an Eager shirt that I wore in work today. Yeah.
You did wear an Eager shirt.
And then I put my
You're not allowed favorites,
and then I put on the Sore hoodie over it.
Oh, interesting. Well, let's see how they do with DreamHack next week. We'll find out. As Golf being looked at here, and it looks like Thor in mid lane just clearing out the wave there is zRapio, as both of the teams now stare at each other. I don't think Eva's very confident right now with how these fights are going. It could go either way, but there's a taunt coming out from Zenborne. Going to force Purification onto Jeron through space and time. Fight going to hit Elexum in your face, Sunshine. Only half health, though. Nothing to shout home about.
Only half health. Now the Thor's going to be looking for an opportunity with his ultimate if he wants to try to take advantage of the Scylla that is half health. Thor is up in the sky.
You know, I'm taking a lot of free poke from Jeron, but the taunt on the mark from Zenborne, but the fear no evils either. But I'm a monster from Elexum will connect, but he does get dropped down by zRapio, who dunks him on the back. Proxy going to trade off, but the wall comes down. In-hand trade battle between the two junglers here. Monkey's not allowed in this fight, says zRapio. He's going to juke that one out. Sanctuary to avoid the overhand smash, but now Or's here too, and zRapio's just like, I don't know what to do, guys. I know what I will do. I'll go back to base to buy some items.
That was a beautiful time knock-up during the hammer out of the Thor. Nowhere for him to go. Watson using Lord of the Afterlife, trying to chase down Gnome, but he's going to get rooted. Nowhere for him to go. Proxy not able to connect with a monkey bounce, clipping the wall. So trading 3 for 1 in the favor of Barrage. They're going to be able to get this Golf Fury yet again, slightly extending their lead even further. They're going to have to figure out a way to transition this into Fire Giant to close it out.
Look at this. It's like 4,000 gold lead before the Golf Fury goes down here in favor of Barrage now. And that's another fight where RvL have overextended, found picks, but then got it turned around on them again. Barrage are very slow at objective taking after the fight, so they seem to hunt for more kills than they should, just like RvL, and it just extends the game a little bit longer.
They dove the tier 2 tower just a little bit too much. The fact that they forced the rest of Barrage into that tier 2 tower gives them spatial control around the Golf Fury. They should have utilized that to their advantage by forcing the Golf Fury, having more people around the corners waiting for the rest of Barrage to funnel through one little corridor and then just use AoEs in that little area.
Well, back to farming we go. Fire Giant, the biggest focal point on the map. But speed buff is spawning here for Barrage, and RvL know it. They stole the last one away as the blue just respawns too, but I don't think they're going to feel confident enough without enough vision of where Barrage is right now.
It's not worth risking it at this stage of the game. If you lose too many members, you're losing Fire Giant as well, so playing it's rather safe than sorry.
We're hitting a late game now, so final items are being finished once again at 30 minutes in the game. Last game did last around 36 minutes, 32 to 36, I'm going to say. This one going to go a little bit longer by the looks of it.
It is indeed. Blue buff going to get taken from RvL right now. Just going to make sure that they're in position to do the fire, not do the fire giant, but make sure that Barrage isn't doing fire giant. With the Janus split push on the left-hand side, does have through space and time available to carry over.
He got spotted over there. That's the big thing. They're all focused on the fire giant, though, and it's going to go the way of Barrage. They do pick it up through space and time. Fine, is it going to connect with anyone trying to leave the range? Oh, does not get hit from it. He will roll out. But Elexum is still being focused by Gnome. He's trying to push them back, but Jeron's damage is so high as Headhunter does find the ricochet onto Elexum at the end of that fight. Gnome still being a nuisance in the backside. Watson trying to peel away, as is Proxy here. RvL limp away and only find 1 kill. 4 members of Barrage now have the Fire Giant.
But more importantly, that one member that didn't is the Scylla. The Scylla didn't get the Fire Giant buff right now, and that's a very important factor when you're trying to be able to siege these towers. That having that extra damage on the Scylla late game, but at the same time, still 4 members is also really nice. So they're going to be looking for more of a play once the Scylla does revive.
Once the Scylla revives, but like you said, it's going to take a few more seconds, so it's a little bit less time for them to siege. They've got tier 2 towers to take, though. Which ones are you looking for? Left more often than not?
You want to be able to get the opposite lane from the Fire Giant, so when your Fire Giant buff fades away from you, you're going to be able to do the Fire Giant buff while having a Fire Wave constantly being flooded onto the left-hand side. So somebody out of RvL has to defend that, whether that's going to be the Janus because he has that through space and time to get back into Fire Giant, or whether it's going to be the Ravana with his teleport to go back to team fights.
So I'm just keeping an eye on both the mages in mid, Atonement and Elexum here. Well, Atonement, he's got Soul Reaver finished here and working towards the Rod of Tahuti with a fully stacked Doom Orb. Meanwhile, Elexum, though, a little bit further behind you can see in terms of build right now, but he's going for a bit more aggressive. He's gone for the Rod of Tahuti, the more expensive build, now working on the Soul Reaver, which is close to completion. You saw gold in hand there a moment ago on your screen, and Scylla just needs to find a little bit more gold to complete that Rod. Sorry, that Soul of Reaver, and then things should be coming up Scylla.
And there's 3 tier 2 towers standing right now. Once those towers are down, and maybe one more Phoenix, that Soul Reaver will finish right now. Jeron taking...
Blink engagement, though, coming out from Orr. Going to find the Cataclysm, Lord of the Afterlife, and Atonement too. Forcing Purification and Sanctuary, but Rapio and Gnome going to dissuade the backline from getting involved. I'm a monster. Off the mark, trying to find Rapio, so he's through space and time. Jeron has to go back to base, and he's going to do so. Gnome and Watson still tanking up the front line as long as they can, but with the Fire Giant, Barrage are in a much healthier position to continue sieging.
Especially after that meditation was popped. Looks like the rest of Barrage are not inclined to go to that left Phoenix, not able to find a kill. Still having a 5v5 situation with 4 members of Fire Giant. They're going to look to put pressure onto the middle tier 2 tower as Gnome gets pushed away.
A big 3-man taunt, and there's a big ol' over the top of it as well coming out from Gnome. They'll pick up Jeron immediately. Still looking to pressure more on the back as Proxy's trying to force away the backline damage dealers. Gnome punching Elexum in the back of the face, not the front of the face, trying to continue to give chase, but Proxy and Orr giving him peel, but Gnome still having none of it, still going in, still with the dunk going to come down from Athena. It's not enough for the kill because Orr's shield was on point. Proxy with the slow of the somersault and the taunt coming out too. Gnome has to give up the chase, looking for Elexum, and the monkey hits, but the overhead kick's good, so Proxy can't find the in-hand. Somersault off the mark, overhand smash off the mark. Gnome will live as well.
What a chase, what protection coming out of Barrage, able to protect the Scylla. Proxy forced to use the Sanctuary, doesn't have the jump available, uses the Fear No Evil defensively, but still in a lot of trouble as Headhunter's trying to find the shots.
And Watson is now back as well. Headhunter gets the kill on Proxy though, but Watson looking to clean this one up if he can. He's got the in-hand flail going for him. He picks up one, looking towards Zenborne, who's a little bit tankier and harder to bring down. Meanwhile, his teammates under a lot of pressure. All gets taken out by Rapio and Gnome, and now Watson against the will, but Elexum of Hammer Monster's ready. It connects, but it's not enough for a kill.
No, not enough for the kill. Watson trying to trade support for support, not able to find the Athena. Also tried to bait to allow his Scylla to find a kill, not able to find it as well. So trading 2 for 1 so far into the favor of RvL. And now with Fire Giant respawning in about less than a minute, can they able to secure that one during this downtime?
So with the Fire Giant, they got a tier 2 tower, Anatoly. Just a tier 2 tower. Really well played by RvL for that to only happen to them. And Barrage, they've misplayed that a little bit. Let's be fair, they should have at least found at least 2 more 2 towers at least.
They were able to instantly take off Jeron in the beginning of that tier 2 tower siege. The way he just melted allowed the rest of RvL to take advantage of that team fight. Despite 3 members having Fire Giant, they just delayed the team fight for so long, and now they're controlling 2 of their tier 2 towers, going to prevent this Scylla from getting a late game build. Did finish off Soul Reaver, so she's going to be really scary in this next team fight.
Oh, Jeron's going to go Fury. It took him a while, but he got it because nobody contested from either team there, so a little bit more bonus gold in the coffers of Barrage here, getting them towards that late game stage of builds now coming out for pretty much everyone. One of the majors seem to be finishing things up at the moment. Scylla has the Soul Reaver online now though for Elexum, but he still needs to continue to work on one more item, probably looking for a little bit more pen, I suspect.
And it looks like there's going to be no crush damage. Going to get overhead kicked right now. Both of these soul laners right now are being very annoying. Being that frontline bully right now, you have to respect their presence in these team fights. You can't just ignore them and let them deal damage to the backline. We saw that last engagement. Being able to protect the Scylla was so important for Barrage.
The only problem I see for RvL right now is the player damage as the team is low. There's a Desert Fury coming out from Jeron, connects very heavily, but doesn't find a kill. Elexum will confirm it. I'm a monster, still online. He's going to try and siege up and find Gnome. Not going to find it off the mark. Rapio ducks the backline on the Thor, though, trying to swing around the back and apply pressure. Instead, he eats a crush and has to disengage through the portal as the Fear No Evil from Proxy is now off the mark. The wall, double tap, does connect. Gnome trying to lead up the front line, overhead kick now down. They may look to try and pick him up, but the leap is off the mark from Jeron, and he walks straight into Watson now, Gnome. But Watson, with the support of the Geb, oh, I don't know what you were doing then, my friend, but let's not talk about it. Instead, let's follow Watson as he's chasing Gnome. No, Rapio going to the back again with the Berserker Barrage, looking for the double kill, can't find it. Sanctuary's away. Proxy looking for the monkey toss, not going to find the kill either. Both teams limping away, haggard, beaten, but not defeated.
Ravana teleporting underneath, going to be able to pick off this Anhur very easy, unless he gets pushed away, and CC'd perfect Geb shield as well.
Meditation comes into play as well now, and now you're going to see Gnome have to back away from the tether. Watson dealing with two, chasing him down, and they're two that you don't want to be up against. It's the damage dealers of RvL. Barrage pick him up, and now Watson, sorry, Barrage lose the man, and now Watson back in base, being chased some more.
And now the perfect Cataclysm defensively, not allowing RvL to chase down the rest of the teammates. Geb, unfortunately, is going to fall. Sanctuary being used on top for Headhunter to survive against Proxy in this situation. Taking off these two members is going to open the door potentially for Fire. Thor landing into the backline, forcing the Sanctuary, picking off Jeron.
The pole will get him out of the danger zone if he needs to, but Atonement walks straight into a Fear No Evil instead, and Atonement's going to go down to Elexum, who finds the crush over the wall. Zenborne finds the torn to Elexum as well, going to force out the Purification. Double tap off the mark here from Rapio, but I'm a monster. Doesn't connect either. Now Elexum could pay the iron price, and he will to Headhunter. RvL can look for the tier 2 as only Proxy remains. The circle of life and death continues, but I tell you what, RvL, they're on top of the circle of life.
There should be a Phoenix. 4 members are down for Barrage right now, and that's exactly what RvL wants to be doing. They have a level 20 Hui available to be able to push this with the Titan's Bane. A lot of penetration available. Athena's going to be looking for a dash on if Proxy overextends a little bit too much. Proxy going to get stunned out. Double tap, not going to connect.
CC was on the same time though, so they didn't manage to find the full combo on him, but what they do find is the very first Phoenix of this game goes the way of RvL, and with that the gold lead shrinks, even though it doesn't really matter at this stage, and neither does the experience. This is all about the team fights and the objectives.
And exactly, with this right side Phoenix is going to allow a little bit of a map control for RvL. Always going to be fire waves coming down that right side of the wave for Barrage to have to deal with, and that could give RvL a little bit of an opportune window just to be able to force a Fire Giant fight, maybe fight 5v4 and find 1 or 2 more picks.
And this next Fire Giant could be the big telling point between these two teams, with Fire Minions now pouring down RvL's side of the right-hand side here in favor of them. They've still got a lot of towers to take, so even if they win a team fight here, the Titan's quite tanky because of all the extra protections it gets from the towers and health.
If RvL wants to be able to secure the Titan in a 5v2 situation, they always have to take into consideration of that tanky Titan like you mentioned. So more than likely going to be playing it safe and stripping some of these towers, stripping some of the protections and the health from the Titan as well. So positioning around Fire Giant warding situation is pretty good for Barrage, not so much on the RvL side of things. They're more than likely wanting to team fight.
So Tolly, when we get to about 40 minutes and you're at full build, is there anything that you'd like to see items change of? Do we see more items change from solo lanes, or do you just stick with what you had mainly and go for power potions?
Well, out of the Athena specifically, definitely want to be selling those Traveler shoes once you get more gold in hand. We want to maybe switch it for
Space and Time, fired and off the mark. Torn on point though onto Elexum. Rapio taken to the sky on Thor, and all shield is now down. Keep it on Elexum because that's where he may come dunking in Rapio, but no, he goes to the midway point of the tier 1 tower. Desert Fury channeled by Jeron as 2 people fall through the portal from Atonement. RvL back away. Barrage back away. Shells used. So many relics still available.
Unstable Vortex did a lot of damage. The Root is good. The Amma Monster is good onto the Athena. Double taunt onto 2 members. Barrage, Elexum does have to disengage from this team fight right now.
Watson getting very low, but does have teleports. Cataclysm from all on point. Looking for the pick on Rapio. Crush comes out onto the front side of Gnome. Fear No Evil was a little bit misplaced, which allows Gnome to escape with his ultimate. There's the dunking from Athena coming back into the action once more. Zenborne has to create his own as Rapio being chased down by Watson on the right-hand side of the jungle there, and it's Barrage pushing forward here as RvL run for their lives back to base.
There's 3 members in the critical health zone right now, and Barrage recognizes this, wants to be able to take advantage of this one way or another, forces them out, but they're not doing anything off of it objectively right now. Looks like they're trying to go into the left side mid-heart, but he's not going to look for the gold either. At this stage of the game, Gold Fear wouldn't even matter. matter, honestly. Everyone has their full builds online.
And now prOxy's going to go back to base. Or's going back to base. Watson is still here on full health and full mana. And the whole team of RvL have just resurged back there. So picked up wards for themselves, can get Fire Giant control if they so choose. But balancing on knife edges this game. Barrage won game 1. It could have gone either way, that one too. And this one looks like it's going to be the same.
Unfortunately, Barrage had to defend the right-hand side, so that's why they disengaged. They wanted to make sure that there was no fire waves flooding into that Titan room, making it really low in that situation.
Well, when
still thinking objectively.
When you talk about that Phoenix there, he's about to respawn, probably about a minute out before that Phoenix on the right respawns, and that's all Barrage have had to do, weather the storm here and wait for it to respawn before engaging the Fire Giant one more time. They both have very good AoE ultimates for controlling and stealing away that Fire Giant, and keep an eye on Watson. He may be on Osiris, but we already proved he can steal him as a solo lane in game 1.
He's doing such a good job just zoning out members in that last team fight. He was zoning out the Thor, and that's why RvL had to disengage, just because of the presence that Watson brings to these team fights, just stunning people, making sure that he's absorbing all the cooldowns while he tethers multiple targets, slowing everybody with his 2 slowing abilities and a Frostbound Hammer.
Just one team fight could be the difference between success and disaster. Watson has been hit by the mark, and zRapio going to go to the sky. It's been hurt as Fire Giant was actually pulled there. Jeron leaps away to safety as the Fire Giant resets, but it's Watson under pressure by the whole team. Here's zRapio crashing into prOxy, going to force him away with the somersault. Watson still gets away though, thanks to the amazing amount of defense that the Osiris has. But Gnome has split the team in half. RvL are cutting them off. The wall is cutting them off even more, forcing the Cataclysm out. A monster doesn't connect as the overhead kick from Gnome zones him, and Gnome dives in, forcing Atonement back. Torn onto 3. They're grouped up nicely for some extra damage from zRapio to come out here. Fear no evil defensively used by prOxy, but no one was even there. Barrage are running for their lives right now.
And Janus was able to split push, got a tier 1 left, tier 2 middle, able to push into mid for the Phoenix, as Watson is going to be the first victim of this team fight. Meanwhile, Atonement almost able to get this Phoenix just 1 hit away, and right side Phoenix does fall.
And so does Elexum, as well as zRapio picks him up. Middle Phoenix now going to be taken down from RvL too. There's a fire minion wave coming in on the Titan, and it looks like RvL, they're going for it. They're trying to end this game and make this a split, but a lot of poke onto zRapio is going to force him back here as well. Or's trying to do what he can to body block the autos onto the Titan. Atonement around the side, looking for the unstable vortex as zRapio does fall to Jeron. Jeron going in looking for Atonement as well. Sanctuary's going to buy him a moment. Torn it in is Jeron though. He's still alive. Unstable vortex just off the mark, and now prOxy's back in the action with the Monkey King looking to press him back one more time. They will hold here, will Barrage, but for how long?
And now prOxy able to fight Headhunter into the back. Titan is about at half health right now. The Anhur has to defend the right-hand side as the supports are slapping each other in the mid lane right now. RvL going to disengage and regroup. More than likely going to do the Fire Giant once they all revive, because of the fire waves that are going to be flooding into the middle and the right-hand side.
Well, there is an opportunity for Barrage, though. They will have a man advantage in around 15 seconds' time. Headhunter, the Hunter, and in a late-game Hunter at that, is currently down. As long as they can deal with Atonement and that magical damage you can put out on the Fire Giant and steal it away, Barrage could look for the Fire Giant here, Tolly. It's not easy, but it's something they could go for.
I would love to see through space and time dropship while the rest of Barrage go for a Fire Giant right now. That would make my day.
Good call, because I mean, you can't do Fire Giant then. You may have the man advantage, but you can't. You've got to be scared of the back door coming out from Atonement.
It's going to be interesting because they don't have necessarily the late game hyper carry DPS in terms of the Anhur. I'm sorry, in terms of the Hui. However, they do have a lot of damage from the Janus, so that could be something that they could exploit. With only 1 tier 2 tower remaining, that Titan is relatively weak.
Well, you can see Atonement heading to the left-hand side here, looking to split push this tier 2 by the looks of it as well. Going to drop a couple of wards in the jungle by the looks of it, just give himself some vision, make sure he doesn't get flanked. As Barrage making sure the Fire Giant is under control and trying to deal with fire minions in mid lane and the right-hand side here.
And with that Fire Wave being taken care of on the mid and right-hand side, they're going to look to see making sure that Fire Giant is not going to be started.
Well, last time we saw this, Atonement stayed in the left-hand side and Barrage got the Fire Giant here. Atonement still on the left. There's Gnome going to punch prOxy in the back of his head as he somersaults away. Fire Giant still above half health, but there's a big initiation coming out and a lot of pressure onto Elexum. He gets the Hammer Monster up. He gets the Hammer Monster down and picks up the kill, but zRapio answers back immediately. Forcing away, though, is Jeron on the back in the wrong side of the map at the moment, being chased by Atonement. Watson giving chase to Atonement on top of that one. As Headhunter needs a lot of free poke, but the team of RvL, well, they're on the wrong side of the map. They could just run for the Titan if they so choose. Instead, they're looking to try and pick up prOxy here. Headhunter will fall to prOxy and find the kill.
Awe is going to be have to running away as Jeron does fall. He did get hit by through space and time earlier. Watson is going to fall as well as the purification was used by Thor. Double tap is going to connect.
There's a
and
race,
there's a fire wave on the right-hand side and in the middle that's going to be flooding in. And
Atonement doesn't even see him. He does now. Swings to his left, finds the unstable vortex. This should be the game. The fire minions are pouring in. Rapio's coming down mid lane. Poor old Awe on the gap. He's not going to be able to defend against 3 with the amount of damage and fire minions can put out 2. RvL are going to force a split here up against Barrage in an absolutely crazy Game 1 in Game 2 in Europe. It's a crazy matchup, and I tell you what, I could not have called that from start to finish.
Not at all. Atonement playing wonderfully that game. Another drive-by unstable vortex at the end there. He did it to the gap earlier on around the Gold Fury, did it again at the end there, and I think Atonement, the way he played the Janus, just really lights out. Split pushing, it set up RvL really wonderfully.
Set him up really well to find the split. Barrage did take Game 1, and honestly, looking over in Europe now, I can't call those 2 teams. Either one of those could be top of the league right now. If this continues the way it's going, they'll play each other 3 times this season, and I just don't even know what else to say.
I don't know what to say either. Let's talk to Zenborne as he is on the line.
He is Zenborne. How you doing, buddy? Zenborne, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Zenborne.
Is it me you're looking for?
We'll get back to Zenborne in a minute, but let's be honest. RvL, they managed to scrape out the split there. It could have gone either way. Barrage, I wouldn't say they dominated Game 1 at all. That was still swings and roundabouts for both those 2 teams, but I think that was pretty a fair result to see a split today.
It was definitely a good job by both the major specific. Everyone was doing their job on both teams. The supports were peeling whenever necessary. The soul laners were going into the backline whenever necessary. It was just a wonderful performance by not only RvL and Barrage, but also XL and Excellence. Both those 2 sets, they were very evenly matched.
They really were. And I think the best thing is those 2 teams can look back at both those sets because they were long enough to see them at all stages of the game and work out the small issues. Let's find out if Zenborne is now there. Hello? Zenborne?
Is it me you're looking for?
Hello? Zenborne? Zenborne? Zenborne, you listen to the stream, buddy? If you listen to the stream and you're trying to answer me now, Zenborne. Poor kid. One day, well, this is the thing with some of these people, they're not used to communication sometimes. They're using VGS still, that's what's going on. Attack Fire Giant, he's not realised the game's ended. I think that's what it is right now. But RvL did find the split today up against Barrage. It's been an insane performance from both these 2 teams. And let's have a look at the brackets. Hopefully we can see them and just see how it looks compared to the standings after the 2 sets at the moment. Well, we'll get to that in a second as well. What else you got to say, Toli?
So right now, the way it stands, Excellence are currently leading the EU standings, having the 2 wins over XL, and having that split against Barrage and RvL. We thought about the way these 2 teams were evenly matched so far. It's going to be interesting to see how Excellence will match against RvL and Barrage. RvL and Barrage, a little bit more experienced, I would say, than XL and Excellence, especially being able to close out games a little bit better. So once the season matures, it's going to be interesting to see where these teams really lie.
And closing out games is going to be important for all these teams going forward. Obviously, it's the start of the console league, though, so a lot of these teams haven't played at this sort of level for a long time. They've had a bit of a break after the qualifications, and now they enter in the console league. This is the first split of the console league we're going to be having. I'm going to continue doing these forward as well. So the standard should just continue increasing.
Unfortunately, we're not able to get Zenborne on the line. I was really looking forward to speaking with him.
Zenborne.
Zenborne.
You called him Zenborne.
Oh, see.
Zenborne,
see, I always have the PC
can't work out how to use his microphone. Hopefully, he will do. Oh, it's our end, supposedly, but hey, what a surprise. Anyway, we still have more European action coming tomorrow for you on the console side of things. You will be able to see Barrage up against XL and RvL up against Excellence and really see if there is a big divide between the 2 teams we saw today and the 2 that kind of struggled, honestly, in the set against each other. Don't forget that on Sunday, we also have the North American side of things.
Going to be Eager versus Kingdom, Most Wanted against Noble, and Soar versus Elevate.
And that's going to be all we've got for you today. However, me and Toli, well, we're going to go back and learn to breathe because that was an exciting set for us today, Toli. Thank you all for joining us, though. And from everybody at hi-rez Studios, have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll see you all tomorrow for some more console action.